I'm so serious. You cannot host a tournament until you make these changes. Okay, all right. So, what's up, y'all? I'm Dante, aka the Forensics Guy, and yeah, I'm super excited to be here. Oh my gosh, I'm so impressed. This is like my second week of posting a video on a Sunday. So, yeah, enjoy this while it lasts. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. All right, anyway, so okay, let's talk about a couple of things that I think we absolutely have to change at the speech and debate tournament. So first, as you can see, I'm wearing this beautiful hoodie. This is for my speech and debate tournament, the all-inclusive Spring Invitational, March 28th on a Saturday. It's going to be the biggest online speech and debate tournament ever, point blank period. You gotta come. It's gonna be a ton of fun, and I'm really excited for a lot of the different things. There's gonna be a ton of different speech and debate events, literally a ton of speech and debate events. Like, I've never seen like a list that long on like Tab Room with all of the different things. We have asynchronous events, we have online events, and it's gonna be amazing. Also have some other special things in store, depending on like, you know, the amount like of students that come and things of that nature. But I'm super excited because, like I said, it is going to be the largest tournament online. Anyway, let's get to the topic because I don't want to hold you here for 1,000 minutes. All right, first. Oh, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing these because I don't know if I feel cool today. You know, this is a nice day. All right, so my first thing that I absolutely think we have to get rid of, this one shouldn't be that controversial, and I need to explain it to you why this is so important. Okay, first, we got to get rid of speaker points for debate and speech. Here's my justification first, and here's my proposal of what we should do. First, my justification. We all know, every single person watching this, I don't care who you are, every single person watching this, from judge to student to coach to parent to even administration, even your principal knows that speaker points do not make sense. Why am I ranking you from like 1 to 30 or 1 to 100? Like, this doesn't make sense. It's literally just an arbitrary number. And then at most tournaments, which I love that, you know, we implement this, but at most tournaments, the tournament director or someone says, hey, don't give a student below like a 25 or 24, 23, something like that, right? Because that's damaging. That hurts. And I actually agree. However, you know, this is a speech and debate. Speech and debate is meant to be competitive. So we have to keep the competitiveness there, but I don't think it needs to be placed in arbitrary numbers. And the reason why most people say don't give below that number is because if you do give below that number, it feels arbitrary. If I know that you weren't that great of a speaker, and even if in my heart I truly feel like you deserve a 15 out of 30, that's horrible. I don't know. I don't even feel comfortable giving you a 15 out of 30. So here's my proposal. We need to take the students who have, okay, for speech it's pretty easy, right? Take all the students, rank them 1 through 6. That's what we do anyway. There's not that big of a deal there. And even in speech, as far as I'm concerned, if you're in a different state that does something different, let me know in the comments below. But as far as I'm concerned, there's no like low point wins in speech. So you can't have a ranking of a 6 and still get 30 points out of 30 and somehow did better than the other people, because that's like the point of speech, is to be the better speaker. So it wouldn't make sense. But for debate, you can obviously have low point wins. I could be an amazing speaker and like get a 30, but technically, you know, based on the arguments that I said or things of that nature, I lose this debate. But here's my proposal for what we need to do different. Whether it's LD or PF or policy or whatever, we need to basically just rank you from 1 to however many people are in the room. So if there's two policy teams, or two policy teams, we'll say, all right, speaker A on the affirmative, you get ranked a 3. Speaker B on the affirmative, you get ranked a 1. Speaker A on the negative, you get like a ranking of 2, and then 4, and then, you know, vice versa. But each individual person should just be ranked from 1 to 4. That way, technically the amount of points that are given splits evenly among the people, and I think in my head, if I was a debater and I just got a rank of 4, like I know that sure I wasn't the best speaker in the room, but it also doesn't feel as mentally damaging as getting a 12 out of 30. Like it's crazy that technically, yeah, 4, you're just the last person in the room, but it doesn't feel as bad because of like your placing in that room. So I personally think that's how we should rank it, and I'm going to keep it at that. Okay, I did promise that I don't want this video to be too long, but I feel like I feel like my thing is now having a video under 20 minutes is pretty that would be pretty impressive, unless it's a short video. All right, so my next thing, bear with me, because this one I'm immediately going from not controversial to controversial. All right, so we need to get rid of judge prefs and strikes in debate. We need to teach kids how to adapt and learn that this is why this is okay. This is tough, but this is actually why I feel have even separate tournaments of like knowing that this tournament is more, as they say, techie, or like more like, I guess, TOC or Nat Circuit style debate versus like this tournament is a little bit more, as people would say, lay style or a slower debate. I don't even like that. I just think that as a debater, you should get used to debating in front of different judges that prefer different things. So if you like, I think if you won, let's just say you won the TOC last year in LD, I hope you're good enough to still be able to win or take top places even at a local, I don't know, Ohio. I don't know if the state of Ohio is more like techie or the opposite or whatever, but like you should be able to still do well at tournaments that are the opposite of what you're used to in debating. As a debater, you have to learn how to adapt and speak in different platforms. And judges shouldn't feel penalized for having different like views of, I guess, what they prefer. Personally, I would love if in an all perfect world there would be, every judge would just, I don't know, like have almost, I don't know if this sounds right, but maybe they'd all just, I guess, robotically have the same criteria of things that they're looking for. Like this is what a good debater is. And I personally feel like, which is crazy because in my head it reminds me that speech is in my opinion, speech is a little bit more what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh. I'm gonna rearrange my words in the sentence because I can't think of the specific word. But anyway, speech is a little bit more like definitive and like what makes a good speech, as opposed to from debate, like what makes effective arguments, or what is a good style of speaking or doing all of the things that you have to do in debate. So I think we should get rid of strikes and prefs, and every debater should get used to debating, like, anything, and be able to adapt. And technically, even though in my head I feel like a lot of circuit debaters might be like, what? Like, this is crazy. Like, this dude is like, I don't know, rage baiting or something, or whatever kids say. I actually think that my opinion on this is worse for traditional debaters. Like, because they also have to adapt. And it's probably going to be extremely difficult in the, if this were to be a change, it would be extremely difficult sometimes for them to adapt to, like, those type of judges, those, first year out, like graduated from Berkeley or Harvard, and they're very used to that style of debate. Like, it's going to be harder for them to adapt. The only thing I don't think this applies to is this. Everybody knows, if there's anything I want you to know about me from debate, is I just don't like spreading, and it's okay if you do, but I just personally don't. So I don't think this applies to debating necessarily, or sorry, I don't think it applies to spreading necessarily. I think judges should be accepting of different speeds of, speaking. If there's a judge who loves spreading, that's cool. That, I guess, technically that one debater can spread, but I also think that that debater should be fair to their opponent, because this is an educational activity. But I also understand that it's competitive, and there's a bunch of different things. But that could be, I'll make a whole video on spreading, because I don't, like I said, we know this video is going to be like 30 minutes long. But anyway, yeah. So even though I believe that, I have a second part of that. If we were to keep things in the status quo, we need is a strong word, but I'm going to say it anyway. We need to add strikes and prefs to speech. Yeah, okay. I know I caught some attention here, because let's take an event that pops in my head, poetry. I love poetry. It's my favorite event. It's the event that I primarily did like throughout the strong majority of my career. I've done a pretty good amount of things, but poetry, I would say, is like that's the big thing. In poetry, there are judges who might like a style of poetry that's more similar to like The Raven, the Nevermore, like a more fluffy type of poetry. And I don't know if fluffy is the right word, but I'm just gonna keep that there. And then there might be a judge who likes more like, I'm gonna say, whimsical, for lack of a better term, type of poetry, like what's like the Amelia Bedelia type of stuff, or is that what that was called? The little kids books? I don't know, but like kind of that, more childish type of poetry, which is still really great poetry, but it's a different style. And there might be someone like me, very specifically me, who loves like slam poetry. I've done, competitive slam poetry and spoken word and things of that nature. So you're going to absolutely catch my attention if you're doing some really hardcore, amazing, like message, strong, almost like gesture type of poetry that just can do really well, which is why I'm still sad to this day that the NSDA, and I love the NSDA, they created spoken word after I graduated. Oh, I wish that was an event when I was a kid. I think I could have crushed at it. But I do think that we should have like those strikes and prefs in speech as well, if you're going to keep the status quo. This allows, different students to be able to have a better chance, because honestly, I think that's why strikes and prefs are there, right? Even in debate, like it's your opportunity to pick judges that are going to more potentially be on your side. Like it's like, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but like strikes and prefs aren't necessarily for the educational value, right? I mean, because you want the win, so you're picking the people who are going to give you the win, and that's okay. I get it. Like, if I was in the NBA, like there's some referees that I might want at my game, because I know that I could potentially get away with a travel or a double dribble or whatever a little bit easier than the others, right? But I also do understand. I see the typing coming up, so somebody's going to comment and say that it is kind of educational, because. And I agree with this. I do think there's an educational portion of the strikes and prefs, because if I'm a tech debater or something like that, I might specifically want that like first year, second year out judge who graduated from UC Berkeley or something, and they're going to be able to give me very detailed technical things that I could approach with my arguments and the way I debate in order to make me better. Got it? Cool. All right. So next, can we charge a little bit less for online tournaments? I would say all tournaments, but I live in the most expensive area, and I'm sure there's probably data that like fluctuates, but in general, I'm in the top 3 most expensive areas in the country: the San Francisco like Bay Area, like literally basically Silicon Valley, like it's there. I'm literally just a poor man living next to people who like own Apple and stuff, whatever. So I can understand, of some of these in-person tournaments. And I used to judge a lot of them, like, oh my gosh, why are you so expensive? Like blah blah blah. But I do think that there are some aspects that make it a little bit more expensive. I know that renting rooms at like a college and other things might be more expensive. But if we're being honest, and I don't know the books, there's probably some schools that like they do get it for a cheaper rate, but they're still going to charge you more anyway. But I guess they do what they do. However, I do understand that things can be more expensive. So I'm only going to talk about online tournaments. Like, why is it that I don't know? It could be this could apply to anybody. So I don't know if you're a tournament director. Don't get mad at me and try to beat me up because it's just criticism, right? We're speech debaters. We should know how to take this. So why is it that you have a tournament and maybe you used to do it in person and it was like 150 an entry, and then when you transition to online because I don't know, like COVID or something, and now you still do the same tournament, but it's online and it's the same price, or maybe like $10 cheaper. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. But I guess do what you do. But I would love for people to reevaluate how much they charge for tournaments. Yeah, this is slightly like an ad. So this is also another technically mid ad for coming to my tournament, the All Inclusive Spring Invitational. My tournament registration fees will not be $100 or $150. It will just be $25. I think there's a school fee too, like $50. But each individual student, $25. If you're in like policy or public forum, obviously $50 because it's two people. And if for some reason you know that you would love to go and your school actually charges you specifically like per entry and you just can't afford that, then talk to me and let me know. Have your coach talk to me so that we can figure that out, because I'd like to give those types of either discounts or remove that fee for that specific student if they can't afford those things, because I truly do want every single student to participate in this thing. I want this to be the largest tournament of all time, and I am excited for what I think is going to potentially happen. So yeah, I will see y'all March 28th. I'll have the link to like my link in bio thing, so that you could do a couple of things if you want to sign up for the tournament. Boom, it'll be there. If you want to support me, because some people support me on buymeacoffee.com, where you can get like exclusive things. I have exclusive resources and extras on videos that I've had in the past, and more to come. Plus, different, there's a couple of different privileges, but I'm super excited for those who want to support me. And if you want to support me, you just kind of want to see what it's all about, there's like a 7-day trial, so you can like support me, but then maybe you're like, all right, cool, like I decided not to, or maybe this isn't for me, or maybe I don't know, maybe I just maybe I supported him and then I was like, oh, I can't believe he said that about the circuit tournaments or something, and then you feel free to leave, but that's okay. I love y'all anyway, and I hope you support me. Buymeacoffee.com / like the forensics guy, but I'll have that link in there too. So I appreciate your support and appreciate your love for all that I'm trying to do in the speech and debate community. I appreciate it a ton. Okay. Okay. Next. All right. Okay, hold on. This is a little bit longer, so I want to make sure like I say this very specifically. So, all right. If you're an in-person speech and debate tournament, you either have to have food at the tournament, either I want to say for purchase, but I don't know, man. It's really different because I'm used to, and I could be wrong. My memory's slightly hazy, but I'm used to tournaments, at least from where I'm from in Wisconsin. Usually, judges and coaches' food would be free, and then like student stuff would be like like the slices, the pizza, the hot dogs, and things of that nature. For like a more minimal amount. It's also really crazy. I want to talk about this one day, like in a full video just about like tournament food. But it's so crazy how like this isn't bad. Like I don't want you to like look at this and be like, oh no, he's calling me a horrible person. But it is like crazy that the way like our society is, that like we tend to like we'll have really great spreads of food. Like some of the tournaments that I've been to where it's free for judges and coaches, it'll be really great spreads of food. Like it might be like some Chinese food or some whatever food, but then specifically for the kids, you're like, here's hot dogs, and like I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Like, and I don't like I'm trying to be respectful on how I say it, because I don't want you to. I don't want to say like you're a bad person or something. I'm just saying it's always interesting at any event, because this isn't just speech and debate. This happens at basketball tournaments and other things. But it's always like, here's good stuff potentially for adults, and like basically Reese's cups and hot dogs for the kids. So I wish there was a like middle ground, and I don't know what that is, but we'll figure that out. But I do. I assume it's so tough, because if I bought healthier food at an in-person tournament, would the kids actually buy it? Or nowadays, would they just say, forget it, I'll DoorDash this instead of the easier stuff or something? I don't know. There's a lot of thoughts in my head. Make some comments below. Just let me know, how do you feel about that? And if you do think that we should have better food at tournaments. Okay. But you still, as I said, you need to have food at the tournament, or at least be within a reasonable walking, not driving, walking distance to the food. A tournament that I can think of immediately off the top of my head that I'm okay with is UC Berkeley. They do their invitational. I think it's actually, if I'm Sunday, yeah, it'll be next week from when this is posted. So their tournament, I'm pretty sure they don't have any food at all, judges, coaches, students, or anything, which is fine, because literally, if I'm at the student union, I could walk across the street and just get tons of things that are all down, I think it's called Telegraph Avenue or something. But there's tons of food options, so I'm okay with that. I do personally wish that, it's an expensive tournament, so it would be nice if they had some food. Like, I feel like you can get some pretty cheap bulk food, and it would literally not probably affect that much. However, I also understand that it's a really big tournament, and sometimes students can have to walk like almost like the equivalent of like a mile to get to their next, like, it's probably not a mile, it's probably like a half a mile or something, as far as like a half a mile potentially to get to their next round. So those things do matter, and the way that the schedule is not all at the same time. But I at least like that there's options for food at that type of tournament. So I think that's possible. Also, this is so crazy, it's super random, but at my tournament, I'm really, 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 really hoping to have some type of deal with like a food delivery app. That's so like, I don't know. It depends on like, obviously how big this whole thing is and stuff like that, but it'd be so cool to offer that for students, so like, and coaches and judges, so they can like kind of have that at home. I don't know what that would entail, maybe like a discount or something like that, but it would still be really cool. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna talk about two last things before the end of this video, because I'm assuming at this point we have to be close to like, I don't know, 18 to 20 minutes, I'm not sure. Anyway, okay, next. We need to have, hold on. Oh, I did. Hold on. Wait, I forgot about this. I have to write this down while it's in my head. Okay. Okay, what's it called? Give me a second. Okay. All right. I don't know what it's called, so I'm just gonna type this in and we'll see what happens. All right. Anyway, so my next one is, we need a ban list for judges. I think in speech and debate, I've heard from way too many students and or other people that there are some judges, and it's not like a ton, it might be like, I don't know, 10 judges or something, I'm not sure, but there are judges who are like absolutely like horrible. Like, it's either they don't, like, not knowing how to judge isn't that big of a deal unless you're like maliciously not judging. Like, you can learn more and things of that nature, and I think there should be like we should figure out like a all-inclusive system to like help every single judge that doesn't know how to judge. But I'm talking about like mean judges that say like disheartening things. I've been told that there are judges, these people are literally like I don't know if they think that they're adults and they're like above everyone, or they think that like I can just say whatever I want, but that's like horrible to me, and I would never want for a student to feel disheartened because an adult thought that they were just like better than somebody else. Okay. My last thing is, I need to look up the word that I was trying to say here, because I don't fully remember what it was called. there's a word that I'm trying to say. Yes, okay, I got it. Sorry. We this is an interesting one, and I don't know exactly how this would work in a perfect world. I think literally there would have to be like a collective speech and debate organization. Like I wish they were all tied together in the same way in some like weird thing, because it would be really cool, in my opinion, to pre-seed tournaments. And this is for debate and speech. I know that a lot of speech kids sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes can be disheartened. They're like a new person, like they've done it, or not completely new, but like newer than like most. And then they literally are in this, like it's always kind of funny sometimes, but you'll hear like somebody be like, yeah, I was in the same room as the state winner and the person who got second place and the person who got third place. And it was just like such a, like just a loss for me, right? And sometimes, so it's not just that for them, but even on the opposite side, right? Like if I am a true like state winner, nat winner debater, and I come into this, the first tournament of the year, and my round is against someone who, like, they're not a novice, but they're like the next level. Like they just kind of are losing the novice status, and I just destroy them. I feel like some people would say maybe that's also an imbalance, because now there's an easy tournament for you, right? So an easy round for you. I don't know. Anyway, I think that we should figure out a way to pre-seed tournaments. That would be really interesting, just to see how that would work, and if it helps, like from a I don't know fairness standpoint. I don't know. That's what I'm going with. Okay, this has been too long, and I have probably held you here for much longer than you were willing. Some of you might have already clicked out, and I don't know. That makes me sad. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay. But I never know how to like end these episodes, so I just want to say first, yeah, follow me if you haven't. Subscribe, please subscribe. This would be great. This is supposed to be my career, but like there's like basically $0, and I want this to be my career, and I want to talk more about speech and debate things with you all. So I hope you'll at least subscribe, because if you subscribe and I have enough subscribers, then eventually I can start like to make like income, because I can have like different like advertising things and stuff. And the only thing I'm really advertising is my own tournament, which I hope you come to. And if you don't, I'll also probably potentially be really sad, but I'll know that it was okay, because maybe you couldn't come because you had, I don't know, like a NAT qualifier or something like that. But anyway, I hope to see you there. Come to this tournament. And if you want to buy this hoodie, there's like on my link in bio, you can buy this hoodie too. It's pretty cool, and it's so comfy and fluffy. All right. Okay, that's all that I have to say. Anyway, so yeah, subscribe, support me, all that stuff, and peace out. Bye.